Hi, this is Hemang. Today we are going to discuss the importance of frameworks in helping you take the best decisions. Now, these frameworks are usually to evaluate new opportunities, whether it's for a career role that you're getting, or whether it's for a business that you're investing in, or whether it's a startup you're considering either to join or just you're curious about what is it that they're doing in the first place. Now, in my role of evaluating various startup pitches over the years, I have tried to maintain a balance of having the freshest perspective with having a critical mind, because I have to evaluate them with regards to what is it that I'm going to enable them with, how can I help them take the next few steps forward, am I even the right person to be engaging with them or not. The temptation which I've had to fight quite often is that I have heard such an idea before. So in such a scenario, how do I take the right decision? Now, whether it's right or not is a separate question, but rather having a framework allows me to have a more objective evaluation from one idea to another. So one of the easiest approaches to consider is the why, what and how framework. In this one, the question why is asked to understand the relevance or the core need of why that problem needs to be solved. When you look at what, you're trying to understand what is that idea aiming to solve, and the how gives you the mechanics of how that problem will be solved. So let's say if some company is pitching you an approach for the very first time. While the books and everything says that hey, you have to start with why, I tend to start with what, because it's generally in a pitch you're trying to understand what is it that this company is talking about, what is it that they're trying to do in the first place, can I make sense of it. Once I have a grasp of the what, I try to understand better how are they actually solving it, how is it helping them achieve the objective, how is it that they're able to get better results, and so on. Now, if I see some sensibility, if I'm convinced internally that okay, largely speaking, they have their thought process in the right space, I then try to understand why is it a problem in the first place? What exists today? Why is it that no one else has solved it before? And so on. And this can be an iterative exercise. If it's a problem you're trying to understand of why it exists in the first place, you're also trying to understand what else has been done about it and how has it been done. So it's a new series of questions which keeps popping up. But I like this why, what and how framework because it keeps things very simple. Anyone can do it. It doesn't need any specific training. But all that's required for you is an open mind. Because quite often you'll find yourself saying that okay, I've seen this before, I've done this, people have tried this in other geographies and it did not work, or just because it works somewhere else, there's no reason why it can work here, and so on. To get rid of all such assumptions and all such internal barriers, it helps to start with a clean slate. And that's where a framework is truly effective. Now, you can also look at other frameworks. Now, if I were to evaluate the innovation level of any particular approach, or rather in the field of innovation, there's a framework called as the technology readiness levels. So that's where you're trying to understand, okay, how far is it away from being launched in the market? How far is it? How much distance does it have to cover before someone else can adopt it? So you are looking here at different TRL levels, and that's another way of having a structured approach. So instead of saying that, yeah, I think this team is more mature than the other one, or which is a more subjective parameter, instead we are trying to break this down into, okay, they need to do so many things before they are ready to hit the market. They might be in pilot production today, which means that they may have to cover a long range of steps before they're finally ready to hit mass volumes. Or it might be that, hey, there's something which is in the ideation stage right now, and so it's at an early tech readiness levels. So framework allows people to evaluate any idea in its truest objective sense. And when you start comparing it with multiple ideas or multiple proposals, it allows you to better have an apples to apples comparison. So use frameworks. It doesn't have to be super complex. It doesn't need any specific software tools or AI tools or whatever. Simple pen and papers can get the job done. All it needs is an open mind and a lot of curiosity from your side.